There have been times I've regretted blessing my children with a sense of humor. I am Steve Harris. One of the greatest gifts my parents gave me was a home filled with laughter. There were hard days, to be sure, but there was also joy. We laughed often, and somewhere along the way, I decided that's the kind of family and home I wanted to build for my own family. As our children grew, laughter became one of the defining characteristics of our home. Looking back, I've realized something. The memories we return to most often aren't the perfect ones. They're the wonderfully imperfect moments that made us laugh together. This story is about one of those moments. I'm Steve Harris, also known as Rivers, and this is the Grandpa Channel. The stories that connect us all. Because someone else's story has a way of helping us understand our own. Let's listen. I grew up in a home filled with a lot of laughter. Both of my parents were really good people with really good senses of humor. I wanted to make sure that my home would also be a home filled with laughter. In my faith tradition, within a month or two of its birth, a young infant is given what is called a blessing. It is a simple and beautiful ceremony. Uncles, grandfathers, and selected family friends form a circle. With the left hand placed on the shoulder of the person to your left, and the right hand is used to support, hold, and gently bounce the infant child as the blessing is pronounced. In the baby blessing, the infant is given its formal name, and the person giving the blessing, usually the father of the infant, if moved upon by the Spirit, gives the child a blessing. I felt strongly that each of my kids needed to be blessed with a sense of humor. There have been times I have regretted blessing them with a sense of humor. One of my very favorite authors, Doyle, once wrote, "In 9 years, I have been graced with 3 children, and here's what I've learned about them. They are engines of incalculable joy and agonizing despair. They are comedy machines." Comedy machines, indeed. Life serves up, it seems, endless steaming bowls of incongruities, heartbreaks, and frustrations. Humor is the magic seasoning that turns these steaming bowls of stark reality into palatable and sometimes even tasty culinary concoctions. I have blessed each of my children with a sense of humor. Each of them has a wonderful, though different, sense of humor. Laughter is a constant and foundational part of our home. Someone, it seems, is always laughing in our humble home. My kids and now my grandkids always seem to be up to something interesting that makes me chuckle. When I laugh at their antics, I almost always seem to be better able to cope with the strains and pressures which are often considerable of my own life. Our children and our grandkids all live large. Our beloved family home is an almost constant beehive of kids and grandkids being comedy machines. Our home pulsates with fun energy and big plans as these 7 kids and their kids live their lives out loud and large. Candidly, there are times we find ourselves longing for the days when our children were much younger. Our minds are often flooded with fun memories of when we had 7 children under the age of 10. We both long for the days when we had infants and toddlers walking the hallowed halls of this home of ours. Good times. Our oldest son is Brad. He's married to a wonderful woman by the name of Nikki. They are now the proud parents of 4 kids. Their kids are comedy machines. Brad has been a comedy machine throughout his life. Brad has been an easy and extremely fun kid to raise. If he were a dog, he'd be a food-loving and fun-loving yellow lab. If he were a country, he'd be Switzerland. Brad is great company and he possesses a unique take on mortality. I love Brad's sense of humor. Let me tell you about one of Brad's funniest moments. Back when we only had 4 children, we often would go out to dinner as a family on Friday night. Nothing fancy or special. Luckily, all of my kids like good food and they're adventurous eaters. Hamburgers, enchiladas, pizza, Thai food, you name it, they eat it. Sometimes her youthful exuberance and high energy levels meant that they were less than stellar customers at the places we ate at, but more often than not, they were pretty well behaved, if messy, diners. We have frequented a fabled local hamburger joint, Hires Big H, over the years. The food is always good, and the kids always went away full and contented. One fine Friday night, once again, we found ourselves at Hires Big H. You know, it was an unusual night. The food was even better than usual. But the thing that was really unusual was that all 4 of the children, ages 8, 6, 3, and 2 at the time, were extra well behaved, preternaturally well behaved. No squirming, no disputes, no spilled root beer, and no runny noses. It was as if a bunch of family dining fairies had sprinkled pixie dust on our table at Hires Big H. The kids were exchanging witty banter with each other. Family love was in the air. There were no globs of fry sauce on the floor and no spilled drinks. The kids were devouring their food. My wife and I were charmed and more than a little surprised by the scene that was unfolding before our eyes. Candidly, it was a slice of family dining heaven. Yet, something nagged at me. It was all too perfect. It was even a little bit eerie. I found myself wondering why my children seemed to be so perfectly well behaved. It seemed to be the perfect family Friday night dining out experience. Or was it? Our flawless family dining performance that evening had not gone unnoticed. A single white-haired older patron of the restaurant with thick grandmotherly red lipstick sat just a table or 2 over from us. She enjoyed her cup of coffee and a hamburger as she watched our young family in action that night. She too was charmed by the flawless performance of my children. She had a perfect view of the family dining magic that evening. Perhaps she was taking trips down memory lane when her family was young and enjoying each other's company. Every so often, she would take a sip of her coffee and then look over and smile at our table of familial love. I basked in her approval. Finally, the time had come to leave. Love was still in the air and nothing was on the floor. Our elderly white-haired observer at the next table seemed genuinely disappointed that we were leaving. It had been, I must admit, a magnificent family performance. I felt almost like taking a bow to the assembled cheeseburger and fry-eating patrons of the Hires Big H, and then grandly and magnanimously announced them, I am the proud father of these remarkably well-behaved children. Yes, my wife and I are exemplary parents. Yes, we could certainly write a book on how to gracefully and seamlessly raise darn near perfect children. Acknowledging the rippling applause of the Hires Big H patrons, I would humbly wave off the applause, the love, and the thing by ever so graciously saying in parting, no. The pleasure has been all ours this evening. We have shown all of you how a picture-perfect young family enjoys each other's company and dines together in love. Now, go and do likewise. You've been a great audience. Exit stage right. We would then dramatically disappear as a family with great love into the dark February night. And then it happened. It came out of nowhere. As we concluded our perfect family dining performance and as we were putting on our coats to prepare for the chilly February night, my 6-year-old son Brad, the yellow lab-like son, let out a perfectly timed and a tremendous sonic boom-like belch that rattled coffee cups in a 1-mile radius of Hires Big H. Wow. Our elderly admirer observer literally dropped her coffee cup. I will always remember the deep look of disappointment that she gave to me after the concussions of the belch had died down. Yes, it was too good to be true. Our young family had been unmasked as flawed and funny. After his startling and palate-cleansing belch, all patronized focused on young Brad. Was he sorrowful for the shame and ignominy that he had showered upon his family? Hardly. He basked in the attention of the assembled diners. He was very proud of himself. He was, after all, a comedy machine. You know, looking back, I do remember that the hamburgers were especially good that evening. I don't remember who finished their fries first, but I still remember Brad's grin and the look of that sweet woman's face after his perfectly timed belch. Funny how the moments we think will embarrass us forever often become the stories we tell for the rest of our lives. Before you head out, here's a question I'd invite you to carry with you this week. What's one family story that still makes you laugh every time it's told? Maybe it's something that seemed embarrassing in the moment. Maybe it's become part of your family's folklore. Or maybe it's simply a reminder that the moments we try hardest to control often become the ones we treasure most and are the funniest. If you'd like to continue the conversation, we've created a guided journal called Until It Starts to Speak Back. Inspired by the conversations here on the Grandpa Channel, it's designed to help you discover the stories that have shaped your life. You can learn more, explore the journal, and listen to more conversations at thegrandpachannel.com. And before we go, I'd like to leave you with a few things we believe here at the Grandpa Channel. We believe we're all more alike than different. We don't ask what made somebody successful. We ask what made them who they are. We believe every story has two stories, the one you're hearing and the one it stirs in your own life. Because the stories that shape us are the stories that connect us all. This is Rivers. I'm out of here.